I've had the honor over the past 15 years or so as the MC to call up some very dedicated members so that they can be recognized for their years of service. We have in recent years honored a few very active 50-plus year members, which in my mind is an amazing accomplishment in itself. But tonight we take this to a whole new level. Ex-Chief Fred Roth has been an active member of the Seaford Fire Department for 70 years. He joined the department on October 1st, 1948. To put that in perspective, Fred was a firefighter in Seaford before the Levittown Fire Department was even organized. A little more perspective, the cost of a new home averaged $7,500 a year. The average mortgage was $7,500, and the average annual income per household was $2,900. Little old Seaford was a town full of farmers and baymen, and Freddie was the epitome of a Seaford bayman, spending all of his spare time on the bays, creeks, and islands south of Seaford. To this day, he has secret clamming and crabbing spots that no one will ever know about. Along with being a bayman and a true family man, he became an integral part of the Seaford Fire Department. He worked his way up the ranks of the department, reaching the pinnacle in April of 1963 when he was sworn in as chief of department. It has been said that Freddie has single-handedly changed the look of Merrick Road during his tenure as chief due to the multiple working fires that took place. As he got older, his role within our department has changed, from that of a Spitfire young go-getter to that of a seasoned leader. And now his role is of the utmost importance to himself and to our department. He is our senior man and our historian. He is truly passionate about passing along the history of our department onto the younger generation of firefighters. He has the answers to so many of the "why do we do it that way" questions that come up. He tells the story of so many characters that have come and gone through our doors. He puts the names to the faces in a vintage photo of past members. Take a look a little later on when these screens come on. We have a bunch of photos of Freddie from his time. You'll see great photos of Freddie from Freddie's era. They did things in a very different way back then. He always prefaces a funny story to me with, "George, if we did half of what we did back then now, we would all end up in jail." And some of the stories that he has, he's right. I've been a member here for 32 years, and I grew up as a firehouse kid before even becoming a member, and I can only recall one or two men that have Freddie's passion and love for this fire department. And it is truly my privilege to call him up right now. So ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce to you ex-chief, department historian, and 7th-year member. Okay, now listen. You've been telling me about this speech for a long time. It's 8:42, all right? You got all the time in the world. You're the senior man.
What do I talk about? I'm going to talk about the first responders. And we're going to start with memories that I have. And the first one, I'm sure, sit down please, don't stand, relax. No, Silvio said I had 2 minutes, I don't know if I can make it. 55. But the first one, I'm willing to wager everybody in this room could answer it in their way. And this is the question I'm going to ask all of you. Do you remember the first car that you ever owned? If you do, raise your right hand. Isn't that something? When was the last time you ever remembered that car? Well, to start with, my car was a 1937 Plymouth 4-door sedan. It was what they call a stick shift. It means there was no bells and whistles. You had to do a job by first, second, and third. The second story I'm going to tell you is, I'm standing in the Seaford Firehouse with my hand raised in 1948. Alongside of me is two veterans from World War II. One was named Frank, the other was named Tom. Tom actually was on D-Day, and I became the younger brother of all the firemen that came in afterwards. Most of them were veterans. The third story I'm going to tell you is for the first responders. This is a story that's true, and I want you to remember it. That means the men in blue, the EMT, and the fire department members. It started out one hot summer day when I was 19. I joined when I was 18, 19. I became a Crusader Rabbit. I had to make that first truck. If I didn't make the first truck, all was lost. It was a hot summer's day, and I was just cut the grass, and I was working on my car, and telephone, my mother called out, I had a telephone. So I went into the house. We didn't have telephones in our pockets at that time. There was a fellow named Jake. He became my best man when I was married. He said he was going fishing in the sand pit. Many of you don't know the sand pit, but those in Seaford will know it as the baseball field on Washington Avenue and Jerusalem Avenue. That was the sand that was dug for the Jones Beach Causeway and for the roads in Seaford, Washington Avenue for one. And when they hit groundwater and flooded, it became our swimming hole. So I said, good, I'll be with you. So I went upstairs, got my bathing suit, went to the back door, and a fire whistle blew. Well now, like I say, I'm Crusader Rabbit. I ran to my car, started the engine, put it in reverse, expected to go backwards, and it wouldn't go backwards. I figured, well, now what do I got? Problems with the car? I'll try again. Stepped on the clutch, put it in neutral, shifted the neutral stick, put it back on reverse, no move. I said, well, now I got to run. So I got out of the door and I started running. I said, you dope, you didn't shut the engine off. So I started to go back, and then I looked at the car and I said, that's funny. It's up in the air and the back wheel is turning. Well, I changed the flat and I forgot to put the car back on the ground. True story. I remembered that as soon as I became a lieutenant, a captain, a chief. And even to this day, I can remember seeing that dopey Plymouth sitting up in the air with the wheel turning. Now, I'm 22. I'm starting to date a girl. Her name was Barbara. She was a 21-year-old registered nurse. And at 23, I married that registered nurse. And next month, Barbara and I will be married and still friends 65 years. Barbara, still stand up, please. There she is, way in the back. Isn't she beautiful? Hey, you know we're still friends? Please sit again. Now this is what I want you to remember. All you, everybody here. You've heard the story, haste makes waste. Look before you leap. There is another one, and it's a little antiquated now, but it was a saying that I found out later on. Whenever you have to make a fast decision, just make sure your 4 wheels are on the ground. That's a true saying. So with ending, I say this. Thank you for all of your kind words and claps and everything else. I appreciate it. And remember that, what I said. Remember your 4 wheels are on the ground. Thank you again.